The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
1 week till the draft, and there's always something with the New York Jets. David Bailey was supposed to take a visit with the New York Jets, and the Jets canceled the visit. What does it all mean? We'll tell you what it means. Adam Schefter has new information. Matt O'Leary is going to join me to react. It's the Jake Asman Show. Again, 1 week till the draft. Let's hit it and get it started.
Wish you could have been a Jet, Fernando.
Let's see what happens.
What's your message to the Jet fans in New York?
Jets, Jets.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show, presented by PrizePicks. 1 week till the draft. RSVP if you're coming out to our first ever on-site Asmaniac draft party. Gangrene takeover in Pittsburgh next Thursday. That's April 23rd. The doors open at noon. We're going all night, baby. I'll be live throughout the day. We'll be live after the Jets make their picks. And, of course, if you're going to the draft, it is right near where all the action is taking place. So it is going to be a tremendous time, and I can't wait to see so many of you. Speaking of parties, I saw our guest Saturday night at the Badlands event. It's our guy, Matt O'Leary, who, Matt, I think you were definitely the tallest person in the room, in a room of 270 people. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was tough seeing that they put you next to me in the picture with Fireman Ed. I'm sorry I had to do it to you. They were saying that I frame mogged you, whatever that means. I'm not quite as in on that, but hey, it was a really fun time as always. Great whenever we can get all the Jets content creators and beat reporters and all the fans in one spot. And yeah, looking forward to these draft parties coming up.
You guys have one with Talking Jets. I know U Stadium's doing an event. Nick Shine's doing something. So look, if there's one thing that this Jet fan base knows, Matt, is we know how important the NFL draft is. So when we get stories like what happened yesterday, seemingly out of the blue, everyone overreacts, whether or not they should be overreacting or not. You just know how Jet fans are going to react. So the Jets, they canceled a pre-draft visit with David Bailey, who was the betting favorite to go number 2 to the New York Jets next Thursday night. Connor Hughes of SNY was the first to break the story. This was Hughes on Sports Night last night, breaking down the latest.
It's noteworthy, Eamon. That's kind of how I would describe it. This doesn't necessarily rule the Jets out from drafting Bailey. I don't think this necessarily pushes them to Reese more than before. But I think going into Thursday's draft, most people believe that the Jets are going to take a pass rusher there with the second overall selection if they're unable to trade back, which they are not expected to be able to. And that player is either going to be Reese or Bailey. And there's been a lot of rumors and a lot of rumblings about Bailey being their preferred option going into the draft. I don't know if this necessarily changes it. I mean, look, this is one of two ways. It basically means that the Jets to this point have seen everything that they need to see about Bailey. They've met with him at his pro day. They've met with him at the combine. They've gotten the medical things checked out. They've obviously studied a ton of film and seen him work. They have the book on him. Whether or not they draft him, well, that's yet to be seen. But certainly they don't believe they need any extra time looking at him.
So that was last night. And then this morning, Adam Schefter sent out a tweet responding to Connor's original post reporting the news about the visit being canceled. And Schefter wrote, quote, "The Jets had all the information they already needed on David Bailey. They felt there was no reason for a visit." So I look at it like this. This could mean one of possibly two things. One, the Jets know that they're taking David Bailey, so they don't want to waste Bailey's time or their time. They're just going to take him at 2, and they're good to go. Or they know they're not taking David Bailey, and welcome to the New York Jets, Arvell Reese. Or it's just a giant smokescreen, and the Jets, after you had seemingly every draft guru say, oh, it's done, deal, they're taking Bailey at 2. Now maybe they're throwing a final smokescreen here 1 week out before this draft. I feel like it's one of the two, or maybe that third scenario I floated. Where are you at with this story here? What do you think it all means?
So I do agree with one of the things you said, where I think this means the Jets have made their decision. What that decision is, though, is up in the air. Like, I saw a lot of people reacting to the initial report from Connor and going, "Oh, that means it's Arvell Reese season." I was like, I don't know about that. Like, usually you have meetings with people to get some more information and find out some things, like the medicals, for example. And they have met with him at least twice already. So they probably got all that they needed. I don't know if this information, like, if you could really lean one way or the other, but I do think it's Arvell Reese or David Bailey. And we're just going to have to wait another week before we finally get that answer.
It's amazing because it doesn't feel like there is an answer at this point. I mean, look, if you're Darren Muji and you're planting a smokescreen, props to you, man, because I don't think anyone really has any idea what the Jets are doing. So I hope it's that, and not that the Jets really don't have any sort of plan and they're just kind of making it up as they go along. I don't think that's the case. But again, as we sit here right now, I felt like it was going to be Reese for a while. Then you had some of this Bailey smoke, and I was like, I still kind of think it's going to be Reese. But now I really don't know. I'll make a final prediction at some point next week before this draft gets underway. But I really have no idea what they're going to do at 2. And then, the other picks from there, there's a lot to be discussed as well.
Yeah, nobody knows, right? This is all just kind of guessing at this point. And I guess that's a good thing for the Jets in this regime. They've done a pretty good job of not leaking things out. For instance, in 2021, the whole world knew that Zach Wilson was going to be the pick from like December on. And there's been a lot of speculation on it. I don't know the reasoning behind all this David Bailey push over the last week or so. I do think he's in play, but to me, I think it really comes down to the two guys we've been talking about the most here in Arvell Reese and David Bailey. And like I said, it's kind of just a wait and see scenario.
Who do you want in the draft? Not who do you think they will, but what's your preference at this point?
Yeah, I would take Arvell Reese. I just really like the versatility that he has. I think he could come in and be, a really good linebacker immediately. And the pass rush upside, I think, is there. He was speaking to, I believe, Benjamin Solak, and talking about how there wasn't really no pass rush moves. He was kind of just winging it out there, and he was winning because of his, athletic ability. And I think if groomed properly, he could end up being a really good pass rusher. So I just think the ceiling's too high for me to pass up on with Arvell Reese.
It's a really tough decision because I like both players. I lean Reese for reasons you outlined, the upside possibility, the different things you could do with him when you play in a division that has a freak in Josh Allen, has an ascending star quarterback in Drake May, who's certainly mobile with his legs. Like, you watch the way Ohio State used Arvell Reese. He lines up everywhere. He could spy the quarterback. He could, rush the passer. I think he's just scratching the surface on what he could be as a player. You just got to make sure he has the right coaching, which concerns me a little bit with the Jets. But I will say they hired a really good D-line coach in Carl Dunbar, so that makes me feel a lot better about that pick. The one thing I don't want, though, Matt, I don't want the Jets to take Bailey because he's the safer pick and, they know what he is. Like, draft the best football player, and you're not drafting for 2026. There's been some that have said, well, the reason why the Jets are leaning Bailey is because they're trying to save Glenn's job, and this player is going to be more effective in year one than Reese would be in year one. The Jets win total is 5.5. Like, you can't be trying to save a coach's job with the second pick in the draft if it's a non-quarterback. That's not even how that works.
Yeah, I know. I'm totally with you on that. I think that would be drafting David Bailey for all the wrong reasons. And look, I think you can make a case for the Jets drafting David Bailey if they really, are looking for an edge rusher and pass rush, and they think he is the best pass rusher in this draft, then by all means, take him if that's what you want to do. But if your argument for taking David Bailey is we think he's going to be better in year one and we got to save our jobs, that is not the right reason to draft somebody.
No, you cannot. That would just be such a disaster on so many different levels. Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. Matt O'Leary is with me here. Make sure you like the video and you subscribe to the channel. We're near 45,000 subs. Hopefully we get there by the start of round one. We're just 30 subscribers away. So if you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're new, welcome aboard. We appreciate you being here. We got a great raffle prize on the show today. We've been talking a lot about the Jets drafting a wide receiver. How about one of the best they drafted in the history of the franchise, and they didn't need to use a first-round pick to do it. Lavernius Cole's signed helmet is our raffle prize today. Lavernius, of course, had multiple stints with the New York Jets. One of my personal favorite players ever. I think he's criminally underrated when we talk about receivers from his era, and he was part of that legendary 2000 Jets draft class, third-round pick. The Jets have not hit on a day 3, day 2 wide receiver, seemingly since him and like Jericho Cottree. It's been that long.
It has, and I like how you said that. Very, very underrated and underappreciated Jet. Had a 1,200-yard season in 2002. Goes to Washington for a couple of years, makes his return, and was a part of that 2006 playoff team too. I'm with you. One of my favorites from the early 2000s.
Love it. Lavernius Cole, shout out to him. Signed helmet from the former Pro Bowler at the end of our shows today. Make sure you get the membership to enter. When you do that, you'll be qualified for Saturday's weekly raffle, which features a signed Darrelle Revis football, a signed Garrett Wilson helmet, and a signed Wayne Krebet football. Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. Yesterday, episode number 4 of the Jets Collective debuted on YouTube. And right as we were signing on, it was just minutes after the David Bailey news came down. This was Rich Cimini's instant reaction to what it all could mean. We will react right after we play it. Rich, we seemingly have some breaking news. It's being reported by SNY that David Bailey was supposed to have a visit with the New York Jets ahead of this draft, and that visit has been canceled by the team. Let's start there because this is a huge story. A lot of people in the chat asking about it. Let's get right to it. Your thoughts on that, Rich?
Yeah, I just found out about that by Connor Hughes right before we came on. So we don't know when that visit was scheduled for. First of all, that could have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. And secondly, I would not read into it as a negative necessarily. I mean, most of these 30 visits are when teams have medical questions, medical rechecks. They haven't gotten an opportunity either at the Combine or the Senior Bowl or a pro day to sit down with the guy, have a conversation, have an extensive meeting. So they're usually checking boxes when they bring these guys in. So it could mean that they don't need any more boxes checked with David Bailey, that they feel entirely comfortable with who he is as a player and a person. That could be one of the reasons. Or perhaps it was a logistical reason. I do not know. This is pretty new. And so I would not read into it as the Jets are crossing off Bailey off their draft list. I would not eliminate him from the number 2 pick based on that information.
Very similar to what we were just saying, that the Jets have not ultimately eliminated him or selected him. It could mean a multitude of things. Matt, do you see a scenario where this could lead to a team that wants to come up to number 2 and the Jets can trade out of that spot?
Yeah, maybe. And that could be part of the reason why the Jets are doing this, pushing the David Bailey smoke right now. There's rumors of Dallas being interested in him, and there's also rumors of Dallas being interested in Sonny Styles. But maybe this is them trying to get some more ammo and trade back and pick up some more additional picks. I'm not completely sold that the Jets are going to be able to trade out at 2. I've said this for a while, but of the 4 picks the Jets have in the first 2 rounds, I think 33 is their most likely trade down spot. But you never know, right? You want to keep your options open. So I think that's definitely something that could be on the table.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Jet fans, who's the pick at number 2? Is it Reese or is it Bailey? And who do you want? Let us know in the chat, and we will read some of the best responses to all that. At 16, Matt, this week there's been a groundswell of people discussing a trade up out of that number 16 spot. Give me your thoughts on the Jets potentially moving up from 16 to try and get one of the top receivers in the class.
Yeah, I would be interested in trading 16 and 44 to move up if Carnell Tate is there at pick 7, right? That seems to be the spot. I really like Carnell Tate. I think he is my number 1 receiver, and I think he's a really good fit to complement with Garrett Wilson. It really depends on, I think they need to have a feel for where the draft is going to go. If they think some of these top guys are going to be gone before they get to pick number 16, I don't mind being aggressive and picking your spots, right? Like, you have a ton of draft assets over the next couple of years. If you're honing in on one guy in particular and think Carnell Tate could be, a really nice long-term running mate, then, I'm totally in on that.
Is Carnell Tate your clear number 1? Like, what's the gap between him and the other guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close, but I do have Carnell Tate as the number one. My next guy that I would like to see would be Lemon, who I think there's a chance that he's there at 16. I don't know about you, but the Jordan Tyson stuff, I think he's unbelievably talented, but the injuries are a real concern for me. You know, he's missed time in 3 of his 4 collegiate seasons, and I just think it's too big of a gamble.
I wouldn't trade up for him. If he's there at 16, I think I would almost have to take him. But the problem is, if the Jets plan is just a wait at 16, there's no guarantee that one of the guys that you want is going to be there.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point and a call out. And supposedly they really like Omar Cooper Jr. too. So that is someone who I think will be there at 16. So it depends, right? I think it's, you know, on their evaluation, how much of a gap is there between Carnell Tate and Omar Cooper Jr. And if they really like Cooper, then you might as well just, you know, stay put and take him and keep your draft assets.
Documented wrote in, Carnell Tate would be the least explosive top 10 wide receiver pick in history. Yeah, but that's not why you draft a guy or not, because look at the history of so many different receivers that fell in the draft because they were perceived to be a lot slower. You know, like Jackson Smith and Jigba was drafted in the middle of the first round. Should have been a Jet, as we all know, but there's so many examples of that. Look where some of the top guys in the league were selected. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, like the list goes on and on. Very few guys, you know, immediately come in or in our top 10, you know, receivers in the league. Even Garrett Wilson, if you were doing a redraft, he'd go higher than where he went. He went 10 to the Jets, and that was, you know, on the back end, of course, of the top 10. It was number 10. So I'm not really concerned about that. Plus, this is a draft class that is not your typical draft class. There's way less first-round graded players this year than in other classes. So if you're the Jets and you have extra picks and you desperately need a wide receiver, if Tate's your guy, go and get him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And like, I don't know, didn't Ted McMillan go in the top 10 last year? And he had a slightly better 40 time than Carnell Tate, but I wouldn't really classify him as a burner. And we had conversations about him around this time last year. I think it's just prospect fatigue, man. We're looking for reasons why not to draft somebody, and I think this is overthinking it.
I think that's really well said. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're going to take some calls as well on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. So the link to do that is pinned. If you're new to the show, you click that, you sign in, and you will be ready to roll. Lavernius Cole's signed helmet is our giveaway at the end of our shows today. So make sure you enter the Asmaniac raffle for your chance to win. Shout out to everyone who enters the raffle and allows us to do these things every day on the show and have big time weekly prizes on our programs. This super chat is from Doc Jet Fan. He cuts the line. Let's move on from the first round. Give me a wish list for day 2 and day 3. PBA aside, I believe he means BPA aside, best player available. I'd like another starter at center/guard, a field stretching tight end, and linebacker. Doc, I think you nailed it. I would like all these things as well with a combo of their day 2 and day 3 picks. To kind of set this up, though, I think, Matt, you and I have talked about this a lot. Trade out of 33 and get a third rounder, which the Jets don't have right now.
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to do it, right? You slide back 8 to 12 spots. That's probably enough to grab a third round pick in that scenario. And I agree. I think you could look at, there's a couple guards at the top of the second round and Pregnon and Basantis. A center that I really like is Logan Jones from Iowa. He kind of started out in this process as a day 3 guy and is now, moving up to someone who might end up going in the back half of day 2. So those are a couple of offensive line names. And I know that the Stanford tight end has been linked to the Jets a lot because, Frank Reich obviously coming over from Stanford. So that'd be a name to watch for me as well. And at linebacker, I don't know if I've gone a week without seeing Jacob Rodriguez mocked to the Jets at some point. That's like a fan favorite for people on day 2.
He's that guy that everyone always mocks to the Jets, and then some other team will take him, and then within a year, we're going to be like, how do the fans know more than the Jets do? I can already see it now.
Yeah, it feels like that happens every single year. It was
Trey McBride was that guy. Remember that?
Just going to say Trey McBride was the one a few years ago. I think I saw him in every single mock draft as well. Jets end up going with Jeremy Ruckert. McBride was already gone at that point, but that's another great example.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Matt O'Leary is our guest. Kyle Clifton writes in slot, corner, upgrade, and safety. It's a really good safety class. I could see the Jets taking a safety as high as pick 33 or pick 44. I don't think they do it at 16. I know Dylan Thiemann is a name to potentially watch there, but I do think they could go corner. Rich Cimini has been saying this every week on our Jets Collective podcast that he thinks corner is a big need for the Jets. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest, because they've invested a lot in the corner spot. Their head coach is a former corner. Like, shouldn't he be able to coach up guys at that position? It's not like they haven't, invested in that position. Stevens is still here for another year. You made the move a year ago to use a 3rd-round pick on Azareye'h Thomas, who probably should have been higher than a 3rd-round pick, which is why they truly went best player available there and took him. They signed the corner from the Bears. I get it. It's only a 1-year deal, but still, I think they see a future for him. They traded for Brownlee. They've invested a lot in corner. Maybe you could take someone on day 3, but to use 33 or 44 in a corner, I'd be a little disappointed on draft night.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's something I totally agree with. You took AZ Thomas in the 3rd round last year. I'd like to see him. You have Stevens under contract again for this year. I know he might not be a long-term option, but with the amount of needs that the Jets have, I think I'm okay with the corner room. I'm not saying it's great. They probably still need a number 1, but I don't know if that's something that you need to address this early.
Bino says, I'd say Ruckert over Cade Otton was the actual miss.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think I really remember too many people mocking Cade Otton to the Jets.
No, McBride was the one. Everyone's like, Trey McBride, that's the guy.
McBride had a ton. Jeremy Ruckert had a ton, obviously, for the Long Island connection. But, yeah, Cade Otton's a really good tight end, obviously.
Jets Super Bowl 59, God willing, in the Asmaniac Raffle for 1. He became a channel member. He hit the join button. He did it himself. Jets, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Lavernius Cole's signed helmet is our prize today. Make sure you enter for your chance to win. 321 says the Jets canceled the meeting because Bailey don't want to go. Highly unlikely. David Bailey would love to be the number 2 pick in the draft because that's a lot more money than if you go further down in round 1.
Yeah, I don't know too many people who would say, you know what, I want to go further, actually make less money. That's uncommon.
Yep, that's tremendous English too by you, 321. We thank you for that one. JD says best player available at 16 could be a corner or guard. I rather them take a guard than a corner. Maybe I'm nuts, and it's probably overkill with the offensive line, but I'm just so sick of going defense, especially at corner. After you traded Sauce, you're going to draft his replacement at 16. Take an offensive player. I don't want them to take Vega. I know he's a great player, but I don't want a guard in the 1st round. I think it's overkill. I want a weapon badly, but I'd rather them go guard than corner or safety at 16.
Yeah, at least the logic with the guard, you're saying, like, we view our offensive line as a strength, and we think this could put it over the top and make it an elite unit, and we want to be elite at something. So I agree with you. My preference is obviously wide receiver at 16, but if they do draft Vega Ioane, that obviously makes the offensive line a hell of a lot better and creates some competition as well with Parham and obviously Josh Myers at center.
Common Country wants your thoughts on taking Reese at 2 and then trading up for Caleb Downs and drafting a receiver at 33.
If you're going to trade up, I would say do it for a receiver. I'm a little bit nervous to wait until 33. I think that's a little too risky for me. Caleb Downs is a great football player, obviously, but I think wide receiver is the bigger need. So I want to make sure I'm coming away and feeling comfortable with whoever they have, that they could come in and be a wide receiver too on this team.
Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Shout out to the over 330 of you that are in here supporting the show today. 1 week till the draft. Thank God. I think I speak for everyone. We can't wait for this to finally be here. John writes in, I honestly hope that Arvell Reese is the pick at 2, more versatile player with a higher upside long-term. Again, I'm drafting for the next 5 years, not for 2026. I think Howie Roseman had a pre-draft presser where he said that the way the Eagles look at the draft is they want to take the player who's the best player by the end of their 3rd season. That's an interesting way to look at it, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if Aaron Glenn's superpower is, calling plays on defense, then you would hope that, they would want to take the guy with the high upside because they believe they can get the most out of him. Like we mentioned before with Carl Dunbar, bringing him back as a strong defensive line coach. If you have, conviction in your staff, then I think you should swing for the guy who has the highest ceiling, which in my opinion is Arvell Reese.
Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Common Country in the Asmaniac Raffle 4-1. Let's go. Move123 is now a channel member. We got more. Felix Campos. What up, Felix? He has become a YouTube channel member and Asmaniac. So guess what, Felix? You're in for one. Let's go.
Good job.
All right. Let's get to some calls now. Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is open. Fibrows will start it off today. Hello, Fibrows.
Oh, shit. I was about to put Darren Muji as my background, but...
All right. Hold on. We'll give you some time to do that, all right?
All right.
All right, Fibrows. You do that. Beast is our first caller today. Hello, Beast. Beast.
This is good.
Beast. Beast Breaker. Beast. Fibrows, you're out of luck. We're coming right back to you. Fibrows.
What up, Jake?
Where's Muji? Where is he?
Let me see. How the fuck do I do this?
Nah, you're not ready. You're not prepared. Not ready to make a play. Doug on the bed is next. Hey, Doug.
I'm ready. Quick question before I get into my thing, or a quick point. I heard from rumors after seeing how small he makes the glass look in his hand, the Jets are thinking about taking Matt O'Leary in the 7th round.
Wide receiver 4.
But I hear these rumors that this is what they're looking at. Big guy.
The big hands. Look
Yeah,
at
makes the glass look like a kid's cup in his hand. They're like, we need that hand size on our team. Doesn't have the best 40 time from what I've heard, but can get in the red zone. Big threat down there, and they're thinking about taking him in the 7th round. I can't confirm those rumors, but those are some rumors I've heard.
This is true. If you want to jump ball guy, like everyone always asks me, did you play basketball? And I played like rec league ball. Wouldn't score a lot of points, but if you need rebounds, I'll give you double-digit rebounds in a game. That I could do.
Exactly. The Jets know what they got in that Matt O'Leary guy in the 7th round. But to my actual point, I don't buy the David Bailey stuff. This has been a team with Muji that really hasn't leaked a lot of stuff, like as much as Douglas and all that stuff. They haven't leaked that much, and now all of a sudden everyone's like, "Yeah, we heard the Jets are doing it." Seems like a bunch of hoopla to me, if I'm being serious, because like
sounds like a lot of hoopla.
Yeah. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm still on the Arvell Reese train. I don't know where like the sports books are getting it from, but it just seems weird, you know.
Here's where they're getting it from. They get it from the people that report on the NFL. They get it from Breer, Jeremiah, McShay, Kuiper. That's how they adjust the odds based on the latest intel that's put out there.
But would you guys agree with me like that it does seem like fishy? Because like again, they haven't been like no one saw the Sauce trade coming. Like there wasn't any reports. Oh, the Jets are looking like Quinnen. That wasn't that shocking, but that was stuff that like we felt was coming as fans. No one in the world saw the Sauce Gardner trade coming until it happened. So this is not a team with Muji that's really been leaking stuff. So like, I don't know. It just seems a little bit fishy to me, and it's smokescreen season. So I don't know where like everyone's getting it from.
Yeah, it's odd. I mean, we don't know for sure. I still think if I had to make a guess today, I would slightly lean towards Bailey at this point, but I'm not very confident in that pick. Like if you say bet your life on it, I wouldn't feel great about it.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't be upset with either guy. If again, like the only reason you'd be upset with Bailey is like as you said, Jake, if they think, oh, he makes it better this year, not long term. So, but if they think Bailey's he's going to have a better NFL career, it's like okay, cool. That's the guy they think is better. If they think Reese is better, cool. Like I won't be upset with either two. I just want it to be the right reason for the pick. And then some guy put in a super chat mentioning about explosive receivers. Ask the Eagles how they feel about picking explosive receivers. They picked Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. So,
true.
So you don't need the big explosive guy. Or John Ross went in the 1st round. He was awful. So it's not always about having the explosive guy. Like you don't know how guys are going to pan out in the NFL. So I like Omar Cooper. I don't know if I love him at 16, but I do think there's a good upside there. I would agree with most people are Carnell Tate's the one. And then, like I said, everyone seems Jacob Rodriguez mocked in the 2nd round. I would prefer to trade that pick, get some because not pick as of right now. If they don't do any moves, not picking for 60 picks after pick 44 is a long time to wait. So, you guys are gonna have your streams. I know Matt, you're gonna have your streams, and you'll be like, oh man, we're waiting all day here, and 60 picks go by, and then you just have the 4th round. So I just think it's too long to wait to 60 picks, and we've had that happen before. It's like, man, I really wanted that guy. Man, I really wanted that guy. So I just think waiting 60 picks between your 2nd round pick and your 4th round pick is just way too much.
We need a third, Doug. We need a third.
And then get ready for the Matt O'Leary draft pick, 7th round. We're all here for it. I know the Jets need a good red zone target, maybe a good blocker too. Who knows?
I might get pushed around unless I'm going up against a small corner. Then I might have a shot.
We only have like 5 yards and in. Just run a post route. You got the height. Reach up and catch the ball. How hard could it be?
I think I could do it. That's what I'm saying.
There you go. I believe in you, Matt.
Thank you, Doug.
Doug, thank you. Doug on the bed, ladies and gentlemen. We go back to Five Brow, or is it Five Brows? What are you going by these days?
Five. I'm figuring that out. I gotta get a haircut. I look crazy right now. Right now, I'm like,
you go by Five Brow or Brows? Should there be an S?
It should be Five Brows probably. But right now I'm looking like Six Brow. I look crazy, but we're gonna get a haircut soon. But Matt O'Leary, how tall are you? You're like 6'4"?
6'4", 6'5".
Oh shit! I didn't realize you were that tall. Okay, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm 6'1", but yeah, you're way taller than me. All right. So anyway, I was gonna just say I think Darren Muji's I think he's the best GM we've had in a long time. I mean, I know he has to prove more, but
can we do this with Douglas again? I like Muji. I just I don't want to anoint him. We did this with Joe Douglas because I really believed in him, as many Jet fans did, and it didn't work.
True. But I think that what I like about Muji is he's confusing. Is he's trying to I don't think he likes that Peter Schrager knows exactly what we're doing. Well, people think everyone's picking David Bailey, so he decides to cancel this visit to try to throw us off. I think we're picking Bailey now, honestly. I think he's trying to throw people off and confuse us, so we're not picking Bailey. So maybe he can try to trade back or do something. But I just think, why would you cancel a visit with a guy that everybody thinks you're going to pick? I just think I hope we pick Reese, but I think it's looking like we're going to pick Bailey now. And Schrager was wrong last year. He thought we were going to pick Tyler Warren. So I'm thinking there's a chance. I don't know. I think Schrager's been wrong in the past, even though his accuracy is pretty good for the most part. So it'll be interesting for sure. But at pick 33, I think we should get a corner. I know you might not like that, but I mean, if you look at the corners available, there's 4 that are really Colton Hood, Avion Terrell, Jermad McCoy. I would love to get one of those. I don't think McCoy will be available, but if we could get Terrell or Hood at pick 33, that would be awesome, in my opinion.
Again, these guys are good players, but I don't know. I mean, they just traded away Sauce. They were just going to draft another corner now. I don't know. I don't love it.
5 jersey.
We can't see with your green screen.
Oh shit. Okay. But yeah.
Little Favre action. Nice.
Yeah, 2008. That's an old jersey.
Veteran Jet fan wrote in. Rich Samini mentioned Chris Johnson again for the Jets in round 2. We did talk about him last night. Rich heard a week ago. He's an in to watch for the Jets, and Rich had him as one of the guys that the Jets would take in the second round. When we discussed it last night, I saw someone had a report that he might be considered the third corner in this draft. So look, they could definitely take a corner, and I'm not saying it would be the wrong move. I just think if you trade away Sauce Gardner and your head coach is a former corner, and you invested a third-round pick and a contract in Stevens, and you signed a corner in free agency, and you traded for a corner last year in Brownlee who flashed some real potential, is it overkill?
I mean, if we don't pick a corner, then I would like to get Jacob Rodriguez or at pick 44, I think we should go interior O-line and get a Keelan Rutledge. Vega's probably going to be gone, and Keelan Rutledge is really good. At 44, I know. Yeah, I think he's going to go a lot higher than people think. He's a good guard from Georgia Tech. He's nasty. He's kind of like Elijah Vera. No, not Elijah Vera Tucker. Who did Marshall Yonda? That's who Daniel Jeremiah compared him to. Marshall Yonda. So we could get a guy like that. That would be sick. That's all I gotta say, Jake.
You enjoy your day, all right?
Sure.
All right. Five Brows checking in. Not Five Brow, Matt. Five Brows.
Yes. Glad we cleared that up. Although it might be 6 brows until he gets a haircut.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live, hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. For those wondering about Asmaniac Madness, this afternoon, the Sweet 16 continues. Congratulations to Mr. Bonesy on a hard-fought victory over Black Gypsy. So in the extraordinary region, top right on your screen, folks, it will be Gary 3D Boxing and Mr. Bonesy for the second straight year. Last year, they met in the Final Four. This year, they meet in the Elite Eight. Winner will move on to the Final Four. This afternoon, we're getting set for Charles Gorman and Big Cho to go head-to-head for a spot in the Elite Eight. And then tomorrow on our show, you'll see it bottom right. It's Purple Belt Mike, the 3 seed, against Party with Peg and Artie, the 7 seed, which means the Elite Eight will start on Saturday for Asmaniac Madness. And that matchup features Kyle Clifton and Chef Kevin. And joining us right now is the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. It's Clifton time.
What's going on, fellas?
Hello, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, so it's great to meet you at the party the other night. I wish my wife was a Jets fan. I could take her out on Saturday nights to football events, but she's not a good sport. She's a Giants fan. It's no good.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. You know, we know who our coach is, right? I'm going to tell you, Jake, someone made a good point, and I can't remember who it was, that it's a one-year deal for the cornerback that we picked up, and then essentially Stevens has got 1 year left because I think we can get out of it pretty easily. And, you know, with Brantley, you know, he's a depth piece. So I think if there is a slot there in the second round and we think that there's value, I think that we could probably go that way, just given who our coach is. I don't love it either, but you know, I'm kind of resigned to it. Is kind of how I think about it. You know, I was saying earlier on Boy Green that I don't really want to come up except for one player in the draft, and you know, I'm kind of unwowed by these top 3 receivers. If they fall to us at 16 and we think that there's, you know, we think that's good value there and we can take them down, that's great. But otherwise, it seems like, you know, we're not trying to get a number 1 receiver in this draft. We're trying to get a compliment. And I think we can get a compliment atop the second round. I really do. If it doesn't kind of fall where there's a wide receiver there at 16. You know, we have other routes. We could go out and sign the guy who's hanging out there from San Francisco in the market after all this time when his price goes down. There's other things we can do. I know we're going to draft a wide receiver at some point. It might be a wide receiver 4. It might be that we're getting a stretch tight end as a pass catcher, and then we sign that guy. I just think that there's options open to us, and you know, I would hate to give up assets to go up and get Carnell Tate if you're not absolutely in love with Carnell Tate. And speaking for myself, I'm not exactly in love with Carnell Tate, to be frank with you. It feels like he looks great. He glides. You know, seems to be a precision route runner, but I don't know that he would be a difference maker for us that we think he would be. And to trade up and give up additional assets to go get him, it doesn't seem like it's for me personally.
Who do you like at the top of the second round?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Well, the thing is, I would want to, if I'm going to come up at all, I would love to come up a little bit for Denzel Boston if he fell to the mid-20s. And I don't think it would take much to come up and get him. That's the thing. My thing has always been, I want a true X to pair, and I kind of think that AD is kind of miscast in that role, and I want to get Garrett into the slot, and I've always wanted to get Garrett into the slot more. Now, there's going to be times when that's not going to be possible if we're doing 12 or whatever, but I think that would be beneficial to us to get those kind of free releases. That's my take on it.
Kyle, before you go, I want you to know I received a message from someone who wrote to me, just saw a random guy with your quarter zip out in the wild. And I go, no way. He goes, yeah, he was taking the ferry from 34th today. I said, I love Jake Asman too, but he must have had his headphones in. Were you this person yesterday?
There's absolutely no doubt that I was that person.
Yes, I knew it.
Great.
I love it.
I was in the white quarter zip, and as I often do when it's kind of in between, I throw it in my bag or whatever. And good sharp-eyed listeners for Jake Asman.
How about that? I had a feeling it was you because you did call in from the ferry yesterday, but I wasn't sure if that was the Staten Island ferry or the ferry from 34th.
That's the ferry to Rockaway Beach from 34th Street, and it is a small world, but I would not want to paint it. I appreciate your time, guys.
Kyle, thank you very much. I love it. Great to see Kyle in person on Saturday. My favorite thing is when people see Kyle in person, they just yell inside or outside at him, which is just great because it kind of doesn't even know how to respond to such things. Some super chats here. This one is from Dom, who says, Matt, I'll see you next week, big guy.
Love it, Dom. Excited to see you out in Hoboken.
Jay with a super chat. I know we need a wide receiver, but I'm all for drafting Reese and moving from 16 to 7 and drafting Downs as well. Trade some picks for better prospects. Can't pay all. Yeah, look, if they take Reese and then they move from 16 to 7 to draft a receiver, I want Carnell Tate. I'm good with it. I can't sit there and say I would hate the down selection because I do think he's going to be really, really good. I'm just a little nervous trading significant resources for a non-premium player.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. The argument that you'd have for doing it is that he's some people's number one player overall in the draft, and just because of the position he plays, he may fall because of that. And I think safety is still a need for this team. I know they traded for Minka and they signed Belton, and they brought back obviously Andre Sisco, but I still look at that position as a place where the Jets could add more.
Hit the like button, comments, questions, your super chats. They will cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, some information on where Beastbreaker was when we went to him earlier and he wasn't there. He wrote in, excuse me, I was washing the dishes and I'm having problems with the freezer.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need an update from the man himself.
You sit when you pee. Now go to another caller. I can't get the freezer to freeze. I have it down to an A where I could get it to freeze. It's not clicking. I'm going completely bonkers and trying to go, where the hell is the problem? So, and then on top, I'm kicking the damn the refrigerator because it's not supposed to it's not closing right because the weather's a little goofy today. And I'm sitting there going, oh, good God, what the hell can I do next? Oh, what am I going to do next? Oh, yeah, tough. Yeah, I just gave it a clean down a couple of weeks ago. There was a big mold stain in the fridge. Where the hell did it come from? I'll never know. I had to take super strong, super soap, go in there and go, get that shit out of there because I didn't want it in there to begin with in the first place.
I can't get the freezer to freeze. That does seem to be a problem.
Yeah, that is a damn problem. I even took a look and went, why the hell is this not free? I mean, okay, the right side is good, giving it a good start. The left side's not giving it its bust. I'm like, where the hell is it? Where the hell could it not be freezing? It has to kick in somewhere, some way. So either way, if anyone wants to help me with a freezer, that's fine with me. I'm to the point where I'm going to lose my temper.
Well, why don't you ask nicely instead of being like, if anyone wants to help me, that's fine with me. That's not the right tone you want to take with the audience.
Oh, what a life. What a freaking life. Just the other night, I heard.
Is your mom home? Can she help you with the freezer situation?
Don't have the strength.
Your mom doesn't have the strength?
Not like she used to. Not anymore. Times are changing. See, I've been doing enough things since I've been 17. I've learned a hell of a lot of things since then. I know what to do on operations, and I know what to do when it comes time, to put up or shut up. But in a situation like this now, things are a real mess these days. Since COVID, things are a little insane nowadays because we got a goofy world we live in. And yes, we do live in a goofy world.
Hey, Spencer Green says, go get a bag of ice at Dollar Tree. Duh.
I could help.
Why don't you stop stealing your mother's credit card, you little douchebag?
I don't look. I think Spencer's a douche, so I do agree with you. But
He is a douche.
I agree, but I do think that was a good suggestion. I don't think he's wrong.
First of all, he's not qualified. He's weak, self-simple-minded, and ridiculous.
But he gave you a suggestion that makes sense.
He's something that Darby Allin is.
You asked for help. He gave a good suggestion.
Yeah, 10%. 10% not good enough. That's called try. In the words of Gordon Ramsay, try a little harder.
Norman Bates got more help from his mother.
Oh, he was his own boss. See, some people are like their own boss. It's like running a mob. All you had to do was work it. You know, come on, look at the great inventors. Christopher Columbus. Did he set sail for America?
What did he invent?
Christopher Columbus invented, showing a lot of things. He set sail for America.
No, hold on. Let's talk about this.
No, he was set sail for India, brother.
No, for America. Even Tony Soprano will even tell you that. He set sail for America. Who do you think invented the telephone? Italian invented the telephone. Who invented electricity? Not Edison. Telsa.
Wait, can we get back to Christopher Columbus explored. He didn't invent.
I'm not saying he invented. He explored.
You just did. You said he was a great inventor.
Do we make accidents? Of course. Nobody's perfect. Not you, not me, not the president, not even the Supreme Court's not even perfect. Nobody's perfect. We are what we are, and we are what we eat in life.
I can tell you what, Christopher Columbus would know how to fix your freezer.
Right. Put 50 grand on that one. Yeah, we'll see who the winner is.
Well, he's dead,
We'll see.
All right. Well, you have good luck with the freezer situation. We'll check back in later.
Adjourn.
God, I can't wait till the draft is here.
The Tony Soprano line really took me out. That's great.
Mike D's Nuts writes in, bed bugs in the freezer. Try heavy salt beast. Mike, we appreciate the suggestion. Atlanta Jet fan with an off-topic question, but fascinating nonetheless. With the recent Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel situation, could her negative Jets coverage have been influenced by their relationship, and did we avoid a potential issue when he interviewed for the Jets job? Look, the bottom line is this. If Mike Vrabel was the Jet coach, they'd be in a way better spot. All right, we could separate the two. I've seen some people be like, oh, well, why did she essentially have to lose her job and nothing happens to Vrabel? Because Mike Vrabel's job is to be a football coach that wins games, and he's one of the best in the league at it. His team was in the Super Bowl in his first year in New England this past year. That's the difference. His job, what he did was wrong, but it has no impact on his ability to do his job at a high level. Diana Rossini is supposed to be an unbiased journalist, so if she's allegedly canoodling and sleeping with the head coach of an NFL team, it calls into question her credibility and how she gets certain stories and why certain stories are out there. You can't do the job honestly if you have a relationship like that with one of the 32 head coaches in the league. So that it is a totally different situation. Obviously, if Vrabel was the Jet coach and this story broke, it would be a huge deal, but Jet fans would have his back because he would have taken our team to the Super Bowl if the situations were reversed and we were Patriot fans in this odd scenario. You know what I mean? It's like the two things are not the same thing. Like one's personal, one's professional. From a Vrabel standpoint, Rossini mixed the professional with the personal, which is why the New York Times basically said, you're done. And she put out that statement, not denying anything, but then just walking away.
Yeah, no, and it's a tough situation too. But I mean, look at the Patriots owner. I don't think he's going to hold Mike Vrabel to that after some of the allegations out there about him. So, like you said, it's tough, but because of the job that Rossini had, she's going to be held to a different standard.
And again, I'm not saying what Mike Vrabel did, if this is all true, is right. Like, he's married and he has kids, but he's not going to lose his job over it. Like, Diana Rossini is supposed to be an unbiased reporter. Now, we can laugh and say none of these people are truly unbiased, and yeah, that's all fair, but that's the job. And the Athletic is owned by the New York Times, and they have a huge ethic standard compared to other sports media outlets. It's a lot higher, the threshold of what they approve of and don't approve of. So, that's it. And, again, as far as her stepping down, if she was innocent or on a group trip, as her original statement to Page Six said, you'd produce photos where someone would come out and vouch that they were with Diana, and that hasn't happened. So, like, again, do I think she'll get a job again? Yeah, she'll probably be able to cover football again or do a podcast, but no, like an ESPN or a Fox or the New York Times, for example, they won't hire her, but she'll work again. I think the idea that her career is just over, I don't buy that at all.
No, I don't either. Her role is obviously going to have to be a little bit different now. I don't think she can claim being a journalist, but that doesn't mean that you can't do something in media. Like, clearly there's a lot of different stuff that you could do. So we'll see. I would expect her to be covering the NFL in some capacity next year.
And by the way, if Mike Vrabel was the Jet coach, I would welcome all these type of scandals as long as he wins, because that's all that people go. Rex Ryan got caught with videos of him and his wife having foot fetish stuff out there. And did any Jet fan care? No, we laughed at it. It was awesome. On our way to the AFC Championship game for the second year in a row.
Yeah, probably would have played a little different if the Jets were 3-14 that year, right?
Yeah, that happens to Aaron Glenn this year, for example. Goodbye. It's a way bigger situation.
God almighty.
Jay writes in, you want Tate. He's not even a number one wide receiver on his team. Give me downs. I love when people say this and conveniently leave out the fact that the receiver on Ohio State, who is the number one, is considered like one of the best wide receiver prospects we've had over the last 10 years. Like that's why Carnell Tate is not the number one on Ohio State.
Was Garrett Wilson the number one on Ohio State? Even because Chris Olave was there that year. Marvin Harrison Jr. was also there that year. I want to look.
Jameson Williams too.
Jackson Smith and Jigba was there. Yeah, Garrett Wilson didn't lead his team in receiving in 2021, so I guess the Jets shouldn't have drafted him either.
I mean, Jeremiah Smith, who's the number one on Ohio State, he might go in the top 3 next year. That's how special he is.
Exactly.
Super chat from JJ. He's in the raffle for 4 with this. Thank you very much, JJ.
Good job.
Jake, what are the odds with the Jets draft history that whoever we take at 2 or 16 ends up being Hall of Fame quality? That being said, why aren't we taking Simpson serious? Is it really that bad to take a swing this year, draft again in 27? So this is a 2-parter here. We'll do the first part first. I mean, any team drafting a Hall of Famer, the odds are extremely low. Think about what you just said, JJ. You're drafting a Hall of Famer. It's so hard to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And sometimes there's luck involved in it too. You need to be healthy to pull it off. There's guys that were on Hall of Fame arcs that didn't stay. Odell Beckham was on a Hall of Fame arc until his career got ruined with several serious knee injuries. Like, that's just how it goes. So that's the first thing. Like, no team has a great track record of drafting Hall of Fame quality players. The odds of it that they hit on 2 and 16 and they're Hall of Famers, unlikely. When you're drafting in the top 3, though, the goal is to try and find the next gold jacket guy, but that's the goal. That's not like the barometer of whether or not that pick is successful or not.
Right. I was going to say, whoever they take at 2, there's a world where he's not a Hall of Famer, but still a very good draft pick for the Jets, right? Like, they took DeBrickashaw Ferguson. What was that, with the 4th pick?
Yeah, great job.
2006. Ring of Honor Jet, not a Hall of Famer, though. I don't think anyone's complaining about that being the selection at pick 4. So I don't necessarily agree that they have to be a Hall of Famer.
And then the second part is, why aren't we taking Simpson serious? I think we are taking it serious. We had months of debate around Ty Simpson. I just think there's enough out there that it's obvious the Jets are not taking him at 16. Like, they like him, they don't love him. Or if they like him, but they're not sure, they wouldn't burn the 16th pick. They set themselves up to have 3 picks in 2027 for a reason. So unless they're in full bloom love with Ty, they're not going to take him at 16. Could they draft him in the 2nd round if he's there? I don't rule that out completely. But I think the reason why most Jet fans don't want to take the swing on Ty is because if you're taking a swing in the 1st round, that totally changes the whole trajectory of this year and then next year. Like, when does Ty play? How many games does he get in? Can you form a proper evaluation of him? If you're not sure, well, then you kind of burnt the pick, and then you're drafting a quarterback next year. Is there a new coaching staff coming in? If that happens, they have no allegiance to Ty Simpson. Now, maybe he plays great like Jackson Dart did at times, and that makes the job attractive for a guy like Harbaugh, but you can't bank on that. I just think if you're the Jets and Muji set you up to have 3 picks in 2027 in a loaded draft class that's supposed to have a ton of QBs, that is the move rather than reach for Ty Simpson, unless you are in full bloom love with the guy. And I don't think anyone gets the sense the Jets are in full bloom love with Ty Simpson.
No, I don't think so either. And I would say they are taking it seriously. They met with him. They sent a bunch of people to the pro day. The Jets have done their due diligence on really all these quarterbacks. So I think they are taking the quarterback evaluation seriously. And they haven't really let it out what their take is on it. So unfortunately, I've said this before too on the show. I think it's a wait and see. We're just gonna have to wait till we get to draft weekend and see what direction they go. I think they'll take one at some point, but I would be surprised if they take the swing on Ty Simpson personally.
If he's there at 33, would you take him?
I'd trade down. I'd hope someone else wants to move up for him.
I think that's where I'm at. If he's there at 44, I would take him.
Yeah, that's a little different, right? But I don't think he makes it to 44.
Probably not. But that would be like the earliest I think I would take him at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Bino writes in, Kraft may actually get VIP access to Sue Young's Rubbin now. Thank you very much, Bino, for the $5 super chat.
Amazing.
Fallon writes in, 16 and 44, rather get 2 wide receivers than trade for Tate. And that's fair. Which receiver are you drafting at 16, though, Fallon? It's easier said than done because you look at the way it could play out. If you like Mekhi Lemon, he might not be there. You like Jordan Tyson, he might not be there. In fact, I don't think he will. Tate will most certainly not be there. So then you're looking at Omar Cooper Jr., Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion. Do you take Kenyon Sadiq, who's a tight end, but is basically a giant slot in the offense? Like that's the risk, unless you know for sure, hey, Lemon's going to be there. Hey, Tyson's going to be there, or we love Omar Cooper. That's the risk if you don't move up. And maybe you don't have to move up all the way to 7. Maybe you move up to 10 or 11. It's a little cheaper than the proposed deal to go all the way to 7. But I think the Jets are going to look to be aggressive if they've identified one guy they clearly think is the best receiver.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't think Fallon family's quote here or take is necessarily wrong. It's just I think it really depends on what your evaluation of these receivers are. If you're comfortable with Omar Cooper Jr., if you like Denzel Boston a lot and want to take him at 16, and then are fine to take another swing at 22, then at 44, excuse me, then by all means you can go about doing it. It's just I think we're talking about this scenario under the stipulation that the Jets really like Carnell Tate and they have the ammo to move around. So if they love him and think he's an impact guy, then I don't have any issue with it personally.
Listener email I just received. This is from Tony Graham. Hi, Jake. An Italian did invent the telephone, but not Columbus. Beast is right.
Okay. Who was it? Are we crediting Tesla then with the telephone?
Tony, thank you very much for that information. I'm aware Christopher Columbus did not invent the telephone. Christopher Columbus, also not an inventor, Beast. He's an explorer. He explored. Comments, questions, super chats. Got the line. Last chance to get your comment or question answered by Matt. Let's go to Nikki Jets, who's up next on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. What's up, Nikki?
You guys can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I know we were talking about the top of the second round, right? I think you go corner or you go defensive line here. It
You have a
sounds.
preference?
If Peter Woods is in the second round from Clemson, I really like that pick. You build up the defensive line. What did we have in that 2010 run? We had 2 defensive linemen who were crushers. They were killers. And, we have an old defensive line. We have maybe Sweat. He's kind of young, but we don't have any youth at that position. So I think that's a great pick. Or you go corner, but our coach should be developing third rounder. Like you should be able to turn somebody into someone if that's your specialty, right? So that's my opinion on it. I don't know if you guys have other ones or.
Yeah, I think after they brought the amount of guys that they brought in free agency on the defensive line, I think would push that off a little bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd push back a little bit on. I'd also throw in Juwan Briggs, who's only 24, as a younger guy on that line. So they could do it if they really happen to like someone on the board there. But I don't think it's as much of a need after free agency.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I get that. I like the Sadiq pick at 16 if there's no receivers left, though. That's probably, I think you'd have like a Brock Bowers type of guy, throw him in the slot, have 2 tight ends set. You'd be set to go with that. I don't think there'd be an issue with that pick for me.
Sadiq, again, I don't hate it because I want them to go weapon. I don't love our offensive staff to figure out the best ways to use them, but I mean,
we don't have a good track record, so I mean, it is what it is. But.
Like if Sadiq went to the Ravens, he'd be awesome. He goes to the Chiefs, he'll be great. I don't trust the Jets to do the right thing with him. But hey, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Like I don't think anyone looked at the Raiders and saw it. Best place for Brock Bowers, and that's been great. But I think Bowers is a better prospect. I think Loveland and Warren were all better prospects than what Kenyon Sadiq is.
I see that. But if Tate's still there, man, trade up that 44th pick. Easy.
I would do it. Yep.
Easily. You have an X, and then you can put Garrett wherever you want to be mayhem on that offense. And I just think it'd be awesome. You have a jump ball receiver, and you can maybe get Garrett behind those slower linebackers. I think it'd be awesome.
Well said. Nikki, calling more, man. Great call.
Yeah, man. First call.
Appreciate this is your first call? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I think I won a jersey from you like my first time in chat. It was the Jermaine Johnson, but I've been a long time listener. I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna call in.
So you won a raffle prize because you get to the membership before?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Welcome to the show as a caller, and you're in the Coles helmet raffle today for 2.
Oh, let's go. Nice.
Appreciate you, Nikki. Good call from Nikki Jetson. Didn't realize that was his first time call. Let's see. Did I miss any comments? A lot of discussion about who invented the telephone. Rick Kent says, I always thought Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone.
I think he's correct on that.
That's what I thought, too. Marconi invented the radio, I thought. As a radio guy.
I was going to say, Marconi and Tesla, I know there's a lot of debate on who should get credit and who does get credit, but I think Graham Bell's the phone here, fellas.
Matt? Did you think you'd be discussing who invented the telephone and Christopher Columbus, the inventor, on the show today?
No, I didn't. But that's the great thing about the Jake Asman show. Sometimes you think you're going to talk about David Bailey, and then we get into the real fun stuff.
There's nothing like it. Matt, all the love. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jake.
Matt O'Leary with us at his weekly spot. Go subscribe to his channel, Matt O'Leary NY. Raffle prize for those just tuning in, again, is a signed Lavernius Coles helmet. So make sure you enter the Asmaniac raffle for your chance to win. The big debate continues to be David Bailey or Arvell Reese. Peter Schrager on his X account broke down each prospect, and I found this to be enlightening. I'll play it, and then we will react on the other side. Plus, load up your calls, open phone lines for the rest of the show. Make sure you click that link that's pinned in the live chat if you want in on the conversation.
Bailey or Reese? Reese or Bailey? With the second overall pick, that's the debate that the New York Jets are currently having in their draft room. It's also the debate happening online with Jets fans. Now, I personally gave the Jets David Bailey in my latest mock draft, and that's based on what I've been hearing. And it sounds like others are too. Daniel Jeremiah's got him going number 2 with Bailey, and so does Albert Breer. But using the Ask NFL IQ Assistant powered by Amazon Quick, I put the question in as follows. How did David Bailey's production compare to Arvell Reese's last year? And after a few minutes, we learned that Bailey had a next-gen production score of 98. This is a near elite production score, indicating exceptional college football output. Bailey tied for the FBS lead with 14.5 sacks last year. He ranked second with 19.5 tackles for a loss. He played in all 14 games, and he had 3 forced fumbles. It's one of the all-time great college football seasons from a pass rusher. He's also polished and a master of technique, and the proof is in the pudding when you turn on the film. Now, while Reese also posted solid production numbers at Ohio State and an 84 production score, it doesn't come close to the elite 98 production score, and it's why many people have Bailey going before Reese as more of a finished product by the scouts. However, it's worth noting that Reese's overall versatility, that he could play both on and off the ball, adds dimensions to his game that maybe Bailey doesn't have. Reese also ran a 4.46 40 at the combine, which is exceptional for a 240-pound edge defender. Asking the same Ask NFL IQ Assistant, I typed in, what's Arvell Reese got going for him? And we get the following. Under the headline that says developmental upside, per the IQ Assistant, we see a suggested year 2 projection spike, meaning his year 2 performance projection, 59.7%, is notably higher than year 1, 32.7%, which suggests that scouts view him as a player who will grow significantly once he adjusts to the pro game and adds strength to his body. Remember, he's 20 years old. Per the same site, Reese's combination of elite athleticism, positional versatility, solid production, and high NFL starter probability makes him a safe bet to become a, quote, quality NFL starter with legitimate Pro Bowl upside, end quote. His ability to play both linebacker and edge rusher in multiple schemes is a rare trait that adds tremendous upside. Trying to put some context around this Reese versus Bailey debate, I then asked the following question to the AI assistant. I said, what's the best comparison from recent drafts when pitting Reese versus Bailey. Reese versus Bailey mirrors the classic versatility versus production debate that we have seen in so many recent edge rusher classes. And Arvell Reese is similar to prospects like, I don't know, Micah Parsons, 2021, or Isaiah Simmons in 2020, while David Bailey is more comparable to Aiden Hutchinson in 2022, or get this, Myles Garrett in 2017. The first is an elite athlete with positional versatility. The second is a pure edge rusher with elite production who's rush ready. According to the AI assistant, we see that Bailey's production score of 98 out of 100 is near the top of the scale, reflecting his ability to consistently generate sacks and disruptive plays, much like Aiden Hutchinson's dominant final season at Michigan. The key difference is this, and this comes from the Next Gen site, and all of this is powered by Amazon Quick. Reese equals a higher ceiling with a developmental upside and scheme versatility. Bailey equals higher floor, more polished, and an immediate impact in year one. It's a tough call for Darren Muji, who's got the number 2 overall pick for the New York Jets. But Muj, you're on the clock.
Wouldn't it be nice if this situation was like other drafts where it's so obvious who the next best non-player is that's not the quarterback, right? A couple of years ago, the Texans, they traded up for Will Anderson. Everyone knew Will Anderson was the next guy up. Like it was going to go quarterback with Bryce Young, then Stroud, and then it was Will Anderson. Like you knew. A lot of times you know. It's a tough debate, and while Bailey is really good, some of the concerns against the run are real, and you already drafted Will McDonald. And I think if you're the Jets, you're swinging for the superstar here. Reese could be that guy. Now, he needs to be coached up, but you could do a lot of different things with him. And I like the idea of the Jets getting that type of player. I won't be that upset necessarily if they take Bailey, but if it's like, oh, the safe pick for Aaron Glenn, I don't know. Let's see what Muji wants to do, if it's truly his decision here. Comments, questions, super chats, they will cut the line. John LG wrote, in 2002, the U.S. Congress recognized that Italian Antonio Masucci, or is it Masucci? I think it's Masucci. I don't know. And not the American Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Well, John LG, I trust you. Kyle Clifton says, Christopher Columbus was shouted out in the classic organized crime film State of Grace, featuring an all-time Gary Oldman performance. JD wants to know, what OTs did Bailey go against? Yeah, that's fair. It's not like the level of competition in the Big 12 is comparable to what Reese went up against in the Big 10. Cisco wants to know, are we finally getting Neil versus Kyle Clifton? Those two have some beef. I'd love to see it get settled on the air. JD says Neil and Kyle need to clear the air a bit. I agree. Phone line's open. Wild Chew says Bailey is not either of those, Hutchinson or Garrett. Yeah, I mean, look, if you tell me David Bailey is going to be Aiden Hutchinson or he's going to be Myles Garrett, who's the best edge rusher in the league, take him. I don't watch him and get that same feeling. Now, I wasn't really like studying the draft the way we do now with the show, where we bring on so many different people and film reviews when like Myles Garrett was coming out, but I felt like he was definitely going to be a star, whereas Bailey, I think he's good, very good. But Myles Garrett's an every down player. Is Bailey going to be able to be that guy too? Robbie Sabo says no way. Other people say he can. I don't know. And Hutchinson is also really good against the run too. Sam in the raffle for 2.
Good job.
Schrager AI take is absolute nonsense. How many times did quarterbacks run into Bailey as a sack? Myles Garrett was an accomplished run stopper before his draft. Again, I just said that, and I agree with you, Sam. You're right. You're absolutely right. All right, open phone lines right now. No one is currently on the line. Yankees play during the day today, so I'm excited about that. I lost my latest prize pick selection, so now we're going to try and start a new winning streak. We had one 3 straight. You play $5 and you get $50 instantly in lineups over at PrizePicks. Shall we try and put together a PrizePick lineup all together? I think we shall. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show, is sponsored by PrizePicks. Use that code on the screen, HMA, and take advantage of a $5 deposit that you could turn into $50 immediately. Here we go. Let's open up the prize picks here. Let's put something together for the New York Yankees. We'll do some Knicks stuff too with the playoffs starting on Saturday. I've been rolling with batter strikeouts. That's been successful for me. Trent Grisham got pinch hit for, so I didn't get the strikeout I needed. Giancarlo Stanton, he had a tough night. He's had a tough series in regards to K's. He had 3 last night, 3 the game before. So I'm pretty confident, as much as I love you, Big G, you're going to strike out at least once. And then Max Fried is on the mound today. So I want to take a look at some of the numbers that the Angels might have, the Angels players might have off Max Fried, and we'll find someone that has struggled a bit, that has struck out a lot against Max Fried. And it looks like Lau is the only one who has faced him enough to even put together a sample size. That's Josh Lau. He's faced him 3 times. Guess what? He struck out against him 3 times, according to my analysis here. So I'm going to go more on Josh Lau, or is it Lowe? I don't always get them confused. They both used to play for the Rays. Now only one does. Anyway, here we go. We'll do $10 here. Throw $10 on it. 10 to win 15. We need a strikeout apiece from Stanton and from Josh Lau. I'm locking it in. Boom. The pick is in. Let's see if we could win some cash money. So that easy to do. They have it literally every sport here. I'm a baseball fan, so I've been going with baseball. But when the NBA playoffs get here, you'll see up here, we got the schedule. Knicks Hawks coming up on Saturday. So I'll definitely put something together for the Knicks in just a little bit. But they got everything here. I mean, points, rebounds. I mean, you see up here every category. So check it out. Again, shout out to PrizePicks, our new presenting sponsor. Really cool app, website to use. It's legal everywhere, which is the most important thing. I wanted something that all my listeners can use. So check it out. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring our show. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. Let's see if the Beast Freezer is finally fixed.
Not that I know of.
Hey, put your camera on. I can't see you. Beast? Beast? Thank you for nothing, Beast. Absolutely nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. I know where we're going. It's Queen Leanie time. Hit it.
Is this Mike D's nuts?
No, it's Queen Leanie. The silver hair beauty. She loves the Jets. Leanie used one punch to take out the beast. Queen Leanie is the best. The Asmaniac home pass. It's Queen Leanie.
Hello. How's everybody?
Leanie, how are you?
I'm okay. Bailey, Reese, Bailey. Like I said, I don't know. You know, with the Jets, it's always you have PTSD with the draft. So I'm just hoping and praying that the football gods will be kind and will pick the right guy. That's all I can hope for. But I did want to call in yesterday, the PM show. I know that the big fella did a little super chat. So I didn't get a chance to reply to him during the show. So I just wanted to say, I really think, the big fella, he kind of calls in with bellies on the bed. I think his bellies are shaking on the bed. I think he's nervous about what's going to happen on Monday. But he did mention that something about when Monday comes, the clock's going to strike 12 and my stagecoach is going to turn back into a pumpkin. So, we'll have to see what happens. Not really sure if my Cinderella ride is going to end. If it does, that's okay, because I love the big fella, but I would like to continue. So who knows? You know what? Maybe my fairy godmother will show up and go bippity-boppity-boo, and then she'll shoot me right to the Final Four. So we'll see what happens on Monday. But I just wanted to let the big fella know. I think you're shaking in your boots.
Let's go, Leanie. I love it. You're on quite the run, and you should be confident going in.
He's a legend. So I'm not, but I'm enjoying myself. I'm Cinder freaking Rella, and I'm just going to go with the flow. And as long as the Asmaniacs want me to stay in, I will love it. If I can get to Final Four, that would be great. But if not, that's okay too. But I just love all you guys. I love this show. You guys have me laughing all the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because being a Jet fan, it's hard. So we need help there, keeping our spirits up. But I just can't wait. Just let the draft be here already. Because, I'll be ready, sitting in my chair in my living room and watching and hoping and praying that the Jets finally figure it out. Maybe Muji's the guy. I don't know. Mr. Bonesy thinks so. So I'm going to go with Mr. Bonesy and hoping Muji's the guy.
Yes, the guy who swears by Joe Douglas to the bitter end. Great track record.
I know. All right, guys. Everyone have a great day. And
Leanie.
Hopefully I'll be able to who's this afternoon?
Charles Gorman taking on Big Show.
Big Show, that's it. Yes. Oh, I tell you, as it goes on, it gets harder and harder because my bracket's done. So now I'll just vote, who I want to win, I think. But I had Black Gypsy winning it all, and Mr. Bonesy got me yesterday. Having Black Gypsy lose. So
people love the champ.
Yes, they do. I do too. All right. I love everybody. Everyone brings something to the table. We're all different. We all deserve to win, and we all deserve to be in the Asmaniac Madness. But anyway, enjoying the show. Thank you so much, Jake, for all you do for us. And catch you guys later. Have a good day.
Leanie, you're the best.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Great matchup in the Elite Eight. Leanie and the big fella. Before that, you got Kyle Clifton and Chef Kevin. That'll be on Saturday. And just so everyone knows, we've announced this, but for those who are unaware, we're going to pause the tournament following Wednesday once the Final Four is set. So we're going to get through the Elite Eight by Wednesday of next week. I'm going to do a show probably in the afternoon. I don't know what time yet. I'll let people know. I have a flight in the morning. Hopefully everything's on time. We'll do one show that day, only one live show. It will be in the afternoon because I'm traveling. Final Four after that show will be set. And then we're going to pause the tournament Thursday through Sunday of draft weekend. We'll do our first Final Four matchup Monday, second Final Four one on Tuesday, probably a day in between, and then have the national championship either Thursday or Friday, depending on schedule availability, because we want both people in the national title game to obviously be a part of the show. So that's the look ahead. But this thing has carried us and given us some fun content as we keep hitting on the same topics this time of year. But I'm excited for the Gorman Big Show showdown. Charles Gorman is in the Sweet 16 for the second year in a row. Last year, he got catfished in this round. If that doesn't happen this year, does he have enough in the tank to reach his first ever Elite Eight? Many people think he can. Some think Big Show has what it takes to defeat Gorman.
We're talking about Big Show.
We're going to find out this afternoon what the truth is.
Jets, Jets.
More of your calls right now. Dirty is next. Hey, Dirty.
Jake, look, Gorman's in a new era of his life right now. That says a lot. He's got a behavioral therapist. He's got people that are living with him. We don't know if he's kidnapped. So, this brings a lot of entertainment and a lot of questions to where votes could be just piling in on his side. So, you never know.
Look, crazy things happen in this tournament.
It does. Look, let me tell you something. I understand where I stand, as an Asmaniac, but at the same point, I love just being the viewer here and seeing everything from the outside. It is an amazing story that I can one day possibly write down in the book. It's absolutely astounding. It's great. I wanted to also tell you that when you see DT, can you tell him that I have that information about the Phil Savage scouting school that will be happening in 2026? So I know that he was interested in that, so I have that ready for him. But I'm going to say Arvell Reese. I'm still sticking by it, man. I think this is the chance to get the linebacker that we need for the next 8 years at least. I don't think that we want to pass up on a green dot type of linebacker. So I get the David Bailey hype, but there's so many hypes when, right into the week of draft that everybody falls for, and everybody, you start to see it in the draft simulators. He's going up higher and higher and higher. He wasn't that high 3 weeks ago. So, I think it's smoke and mirrors, to be honest. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but I think Arvell Reese is going to be selected too. If we don't have a wide receiver in the 16 spot where we're at, look, I wouldn't mind taking, I do want an offensive weapon, but I wouldn't mind taking an additional defensive player. We have to stop the run. And looking at Antonio Williams from Clemson in the slot, because that's what we need. We need somebody that's going to be in that slot. And he's progressively made a lot more, his percentage of in the slot in his career at Clemson has just gone up and up and up. And he's done a really good job in that area. So I understand that people don't see that as a sexy name, but that's just what it is. I think that that's something that that they can do.
Dirty, my big thing is they better get it right.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like, I understand that. That's how are you? I'm well. I gotta go, buddy. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, America's favorite mailman, Dirty from the mail truck. More of your calls shortly. Want to remind people that you can listen to the show in podcast form. Spread the word. Jake Asman Show in audio form, Apple or Spotify. Let's say hello to Izzy, who's next. Hey, Izzy.
Hey, what's going on, Jake? How you been, man?
Izzy, where have you been, man?
Just life and work and this the off season. It's really hard for me to call in, but today I had an off day because I had some errands to run. So I was home and I seen you was live. I was like, shoot, let me get on here and say what's up. See how you been.
Love it, man. Well, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, man. A lot of crazy stuff been going on, man. That Gypsy and Gary battle, man, is really satisfying. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Are you Team Gary or Team Gypsy?
That's a hard one. I'm probably Team Gary. I do think Gypsy has the best intro in the whole thing. I think his intro is tight, but I like what Gary represents for the most part. And I think he has a lot of haters. I don't like the cheating, and he got caught on 4K cheating. So that's kind of.
I need y'all to make 50 fake accounts, 50 burner accounts. They're not fake; they're real accounts. They're just burner accounts, and then go vote for me from all 50 accounts.
Yeah, that's tough to come back from right there, man. That's hard.
It might actually be helping him though.
Why you say that?
Well, because people have been rallying around that. People like the villain. I mean, Gary keeps winning. He's still alive.
That's true. How many more rounds are left?
So we're gonna wrap up the Sweet 16 by the end of tomorrow's show, and then the Elite Eight will start Saturday. We'll get the Elite Eight done by Wednesday. Pause for draft weekend, and then the championship, Final Four, and championship will be the week after the draft, like that Monday through Friday. We'll have the schedule.
Okay, that's tough, man. So what do you think about? You still think they're gonna draft? I mean, after this with them, I didn't see anything that happened early in the show, so I'm gonna go back and watch it. But do you think that they're still gonna draft Arvell Reese, or do you feel like it might be Bailey?
I definitely think it could be Bailey. In fact, I would slightly lean Bailey at this point because I think I think they might want the more proven pass rusher, not take a chance. And I don't know if I love that as the reason. Bailey's really good though. Like it's not like he's a bad player. I would personally, I would go Reese. I lean with them taking Bailey right now. I felt like it was going to be Reese the whole time, but I don't know. There's just too much surrounding Bailey right now that I'm kind of leaning that way that they're actually going to take him.
See, to me, when I watch Bailey, like I'm not going to say I see McDonald, but that's the position where if I drafted Bailey, I would put him in where I would use McDonald. So it seems kind of like doubling down on a skill that we already have on the team. I like Reese. You know,
They're
for
both
his
going to line
versatility.
up and rush the quarterback on opposite ends.
That's true.
But they're both
But
not good against the run. McDonald, we know, is not. Bailey,
Yeah.
I mean, people, if you watch my show and we have Blew It On or Robbie Sabo, they're both defiant in their concerns over Bailey against the run. Then there's other people who say, no, it's not as egregious as you're making it out. Somewhere in the middle is the truth, I suppose. That's the concern. It's like you're taking a player at 2 who, he could rush the passer. But one, the Jets don't usually play in games where they have the lead. They play in a lot of games where they're trailing. Would it be better to not take the player over the next 5 years who has a way higher ceiling and is already an elite linebacker who's only 20, is a freak athletically, and can definitely be taught how to be an elite pass rusher?
You know, I saw a picture of Arvell Reese dapping up Caleb Downs in the end zone. The dude is a monster. He's really like built like something different, man. You know, and I don't know if you know his name, Deshaun Hand. Do you know Deshaun Hand?
Why do I recognize that name?
He's a D tackle. He played for got drafted to the Lions maybe like 6 years ago, and he moved around to the Dolphins. He was on the Dolphins maybe last year or the year before. But I went to high school with him. I played football with him. He's the same thing. Like he was a natural beast of a human being. And I think that the skill set that Arvell Reese has, I really do believe the way the NFL is going is that's the kind of player you want to get. You know, like somebody that can play multiple positions. He can rush. He's strong. And he's fast, you know, and I just think that you could have him in so many places. And, you know, if Aaron Glenn can figure out how to use him, I really think that Reese is special. And I had a dream a couple weeks ago. I don't remember a lot in the dream, but I know that we moved back and we took Ruben Bain. So
that'd be interesting. I don't know who's trading up though. That's the thing. I'm not against that though. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was like I think we moved to like 7 or 10 maybe. I don't think the Chiefs will come up for anything important. I believe that there's enough smoke blown that someone could possibly move up for Love, you know, just to get him before anybody else decides to move up. But I don't think the Commanders would move up to 2 for anybody. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I like Concepcion too. I think what makes a really good receiver, what translates well, is winning off the line. Route running and just the quickness. Like I see, like I'm not gonna say I see Garrett Wilson in him, but when Concepcion moves, you kind of see that like shiftiness that you want your receiver to have, most of your receivers. So I do like him. I'm team, man. Out of all the quarterbacks coming out besides like, you know, Simpson and Fernando Mendoza, people gonna hate me in the chat for this, but I really do like Diego Pavia. Like I watched a lot of his games, man, and the dude just has like the go get it factor, man. Like he really, you know, no matter what kind of pressure's on him, he's throwing that ball and he's moving around, he's throwing off platform, and that's not something you could teach really. Like throwing off platform is kind of something you just develop as a person, as a player, you know. So I don't know, man. If we could get him in the late rounds, I know he's short, but I think he could probably definitely feed Garrett Wilson for the most part.
Again, they better be right with that swing, because that is a huge pick, not just for this year.
I wouldn't take a quarterback in the first 2 rounds, like just period. I mean, I like Ty Simpson. I wouldn't even take him at 33.
And you could sell me on 33. I would not take a quarterback at 16, though. No, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, I would just give Geno Smith everything we can give him. You know, like 33, I'd probably take a guard. You know, I'd take like Reese, and then 16, I'd take the best receiver, maybe Sadiq. And I probably would just have Sadiq line up as a receiver most of the time anyways. And then 33, I'd take a guard. 44 would be I would say like a safety or like a corner, you know, just to solidify that room a little bit more.
Yeah, both are positions in need. So
yeah. But I appreciate you, Jake, man. Thanks for taking my call. I gotta hop in the shower real quick. I just came from the gym. But yeah, I'm gonna try to call in a little bit more. This is the most calm call I could make. Usually I'm on the road in the truck and God knows where I'll be at. So I'll be watching though. Every day I'll be watching, man.
I appreciate you, Izzy. Thanks so much for supporting, and hopefully you can call again soon, man. Love your calls.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you.
Izzy checking in. Good stuff from him. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it earlier, there was unfortunately a situation involving our friend Beast in the Global Studio headquarters. He said that his freezer is not working properly. The exact quote is, "I can't get the freezer to freeze." So obviously this is a very troubling situation, a developing situation as well. So let's get the latest.
I had a talk with a client. We're gonna see what we can. All I gotta do is defrost the whole thing at the top, and what I have to do is I'm gonna have to re-scrub the whole damn thing down, and then what I'm gonna have to do is refreeze again.
I don't think anyone knows what that means.
I gotta go up there again because there's a little area blocking a certain area in the freeze on the left-hand side where the ice was. I had to chop that all off because that ice was blocking the area where it's supposed to freeze, and you're supposed to let that ice, develop. And it's
I thought you said it wasn't freezing though.
It was not freezing correctly. It needs to freeze. It is not doing it correctly.
But you said, to quote you, I can't get the freezer to freeze.
No, it can't. It's not freezing correctly.
But it's freezing. You just described.
It's not freezing correctly. It's at 45. It can't be at 45. It has to be at 35. I need it at room temperature, which is 35 degrees. It's driving me bonkers.
Are the bed bugs attacking the freezer?
Are you on crack?
No.
What are you high on crack?
No. I've never done crack in my life.
Well, so thank you very much. You finally nailed that one right on the head with a hammer.
What do you mean finally?
Wait, what is this? Ringling Brothers? Or is this the Barnum and Bailey Crackless Circus Club? Wow.
Joe writes in, Angry Beast, don't let anything interfere with the eating schedule. How does this impact your meals today?
The fridge is fine. It's the freezer that's not doing it correctly. It's not working proper.
Are you sure room temperature is 35 degrees?
It has to be at 35. I need it at 35 for a reason. So the ice could develop. Once it's formed into shape, then we can use ice cubes for water or other things, as vice versa, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey, Beast, Dana says $25 per push-up right now.
Fuck off.
Well, if you need money to fix the freezer, how much is a freezer? Someone give me a price.
Oh, in the words of the great Miss Dread, would you like to know? Things are not cheap these days. They're not cheap. I'll see if I can talk to one of my associates, see what I can come up with as a plan.
Associates? You're unemployed.
With this phone, I got plenty of ways to find it. Always remember, if the left hand don't get you, the right hand will.
What if both hands are amputated?
Whatever the chat says, they don't know their ass from their elbow.
Hey, Gator writes in, Beast, new freezer if you can get us a 30-minute one-on-one interview with your mom.
If you're drinking some weird-ass drug water, then you must be either sipping on your own soda pop, buddy. This sounds like weird shit to me. I find having it weird.
Wrong Verb says, are the bed bugs associates?
Oh boy, this is turning into a circus.
Iowa Jet says, who pays that phone bill?
Excuse me. This is my phone. This is my Cricket phone. I pay for my own phone bill around here. You got a goddamn problem with it, then you take it up with somebody else.
Now back to the whole room temperature thing. Are you sure it should be 35 degrees?
It has to be set at 35. It needs to be at 35 for a reason, to stay frozen solid.
But that's not room temperature.
Well, to me it is. It works that way.
So is your freezer currently defrosting right now?
It's right now it's not being itself right now. It's being on drugs right now.
Did you unplug it and to allow the ice to defrost?
We've already done most of this stuff before. This is not my first rodeo. And know me, I won't wear no cowboy hat and cowboy boots and look like some kind of a high rejected weirdo on steroids.
Well, it sounds like you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't think you're going to be able to fix the freezer.
We'll find a way. Always remember, if you don't know what you're doing, then at least keep trying.
Also, you said earlier that the weather's a little goofy today. Does that mean it's cold
it
or
is
hot?
goofy. The weather doesn't know what to do anymore. Maybe it's on crack today.
What's the weather?
it's 68. And it's supposed to be 75. I'm
That
like,
sounds ideal.
the weather's on drugs. That's all I can tell you. The weather's on drugs.
It's a great day to be outdoors.
Yeah, well, maybe if you look at the weather a little more often, it's a little goofy because what we have in our systems nowadays. Oh, sit back, buckle up. Chemtrails, morons who like to spray their aerosol, their helium and barium and all that other goofy crap. The government likes to do that too. That's all part of the master plan.
All right. Well, we'll check back in with you. Good luck. Thank you for that one, Beast. Let's keep it rolling with your calls right now. Ralphie is next. Hey, Ralphie.
Hey, Jake. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic, Ralphie.
Thanks for letting me follow that. I mean, it's pretty simple. Refrigerators like at 37, freezers at like almost 1 degree, and your beverage cooler, which I have here, is like 40 degrees. It's a pretty simple concept, but I guess maybe not in Illinois. Good win by the Yankees. Luckiest one I've ever seen. Pop-ups falling down in the major leagues. But
Shades of Luis Castillo dropping A-Rod's pop-up in 2009 against the Mets.
I know. And we're right where we are in April. For all Mets, Jets fans, this is right where we normally are. I've given up the Mets for a week, and I'm wearing Expos gear. At least I'm not on another team that's playing against us. So I'll just go with the defunct team for now. And I got the Malachi Moore jersey behind me that the mom got signed for me.
There you go. And you got the Sanchez jersey that you won as
well.
well.
That I won from you, and then I got Revis also that I won from you. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will say one of those is probably not deserving of the full frame treatment yet if you didn't have a personal relationship with the Moore family. So now we got to hope that he turns out to be an awesome player so we can live up to being on that wall with Sanchez, quarterback of a team that won 4 road playoff games, and Hall of Famer Darrelle Revis.
If not, he goes in the garage like some of the other things. I want to let you know, I talked to my dad. My dad's like a bigger anti-Yankee fan and a bigger Jet fan than me. He's 82. And I pick up the phone, and he calls. He doesn't ask about the grandkids. All the thing he says is, how come the Jets are not drafting Love? He's the best player in the draft. I don't know where he heard it in Daytona, but he's a big Lou B fan, I think, my dad.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's been radicalized.
Well, he said he's 82 and he wants to see offense and he's tired of seeing 10-9 games. It sounds like Neil as well. So maybe like I'm 58, but maybe like once you're over 60 and you're Italian, maybe you lean towards offense, I guess. But I'm happy going the way we're going to probably end up going. It reminds me of the 94 draft, which I was at, which is crazy, so long ago. Believe it or not, I went to that draft the day after my bachelor party. So slept in the city, woke up, went to the Marriott Marquis, very hungover. And the Jets did trade up to get Aaron Glenn in that draft. But the draft is very reminiscent of this draft because there wasn't really great quarterbacks and or wide receivers. First pick taken overall was a guy named Dan Wilkinson from Ohio State, who was like a defensive tackle. But what I wanted to say was, when I look back at that draft, there's only 2 players from the first round were made the Hall of Fame, and 2 players from the second round made the Hall of Fame. So just as many from the second round as the first round. And the best player in the whole draft was Falk, the running back. So who was taken by the Colts, who ended up did great for the Rams. So maybe Lou B is right. Maybe we're on to something. Maybe Love might be the best player overall. The other Hall of Famer in that first round was a guy named Bryant Young, who was a defensive tackle for the Niners. So nobody from any good skill positions actually became a Hall of Famer.
Look, every draft's different. Love is a phenomenal player. The Jets are not in position to take a running back when they're not going to be that good this year.
I'm not advocating for the Jets at number 2, but I'm just saying when we look back at this, I can't believe it's 32 years ago, and I can't believe I'm going to be married 32 years. Gary would be happy that I'm been able to keep a married wife for 32 years based on yesterday's conversations. It makes me more of a man, I guess. But 32 years ago, when we look back at it, I'm just saying, like, everyone likes to talk about, well, a quarterback should have like 30 games or whatever to try to look at history and force it into here. But it's very similar type of things where, like, you can see the tendencies have always been to try to get skill position players, and many times the lower salary cap type positions, defensive tackle, middle linebacker. They're the ones that become cornerstones for teams and like Hall of Famers. So at some point you have to try to draft for the best player available.
Agreed.
I think we'll be okay at number 2. I think both of these guys that we're talking about, Reese and Bailey, can be like at least like all-star Pro Bowler type guys.
And that's been my point the whole time. Like if it was a weird year where there wasn't a player worthy of that, then we can have the conversation. Like again, I'm open to Sonny Styles. I fundamentally don't believe in taking a running back at 2 when you're coming off a 3-win season. We just saw this with the Giants. Like we literally just saw this with the other team in town. They did not. Saquon was great as a rookie. Then he had a couple injury-plagued years, had one final really good season, then another injury-plagued year, left, and he didn't have his 2,000-yard year until he went to the Eagles. Like you need the running back needs to be the final piece, not because you take a running back at 2, he's one of the top 5 highest paid running backs in the league immediately. Like value has to be a thing when you're drafting at number 2.
Yeah, but salary caps, I mean, listen, if you think of it this way, $200 million is a salary cap. And I know Gary also said that I was low IQ at some point, but here's where my MBA and finance comes into play, Gary. If you get $200 million for a salary cap, and let's say 10% of that is for special teams. Now
it's over 300 for what it's worth.
Yeah, all right, so 300. And 10% of that is for special teams. So now you have 270 million so 135 million on either side of the ball. You know what? You fill that up with Pro Bowl players. It doesn't mean that your edge rusher has to be your highest paid player and your best player. If your middle linebacker is better and you have to pay him a top 3 salary, then somewhere else has got to be a little off, or you have to draft for rookies over there. But I think you take that 135 million on each side of the ball and you put the best team you can together. It's not all about being the most efficient, cheapest way to go. Again, I'm not saying Bailey and Reese are not the best 2 players here. I just think that the mindset has to change to say, let's get good players. Because when I look back at that draft, and I see Marshall Faulk and a defensive tackle made the Hall of Fame, and so did Kevin Mawai in the 2nd round, and nobody else did. And by the way, a New York team drafted an Indiana wide receiver in the 1st round in that draft, probably the first time ever. So, a lot of things come back to play. You could see the sort of, you see how the causes and effects of the same kind of thinking. And the better teams seem to have a little bit better thinking, like the Ravens. They're always putting players. I was at that draft in '96 also when Ray Lewis got drafted. And I mean, he just fell because he was a small middle linebacker, and who wouldn't want him now? And who wouldn't, if Saquon Barkley makes the Hall of Fame, we're all going to look back if they do a redraft and say, well, Saquon Barkley was drafted right where he should have been at number 2. It just didn't work out for the Giants because he got hurt early on in his tenure. And then Shane didn't want to keep him. But if he would have rushed for 200 yards and they would have won the Super Bowl in the last year or 2, people would have said that was a great draft. So it's all cause and effect.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's an argument for it, but I am also against it, not just because it's my philosophy of building a team not to do it. They had Breece Hall, who just ran for over 1,000 yards on an awful team this past year, and they could get something done with him. Yeah. Like I'd rather fill a different need at a premium position and get the value of getting a guy who, if Reese or Bailey hits, they're going to be making $40+ million on their 2nd contract. I'd rather get that guy under cost certainty for 5 years rather than a running back who is in their prime immediately if you draft him. Look at Todd Gurley. He was out of the league.
No, you could say that most average to above average running backs can get very similar statistics behind a good running back and with a good offensive scheme. So you're right in that regard. Where someone like McCaffrey and Barkley do well is when you're suffering in those areas, they can do so many things, catching the ball, running the ball, getting the touchdowns that are hard for other people to get in small areas. We're not at that point yet, and hopefully with 3 first-round picks, maybe there'll be a running back next year that does fit that bill.
There probably will be.
All right. Have a good day, Jake.
Ralphie, great call. All fair points. I just don't believe that's in the best interest of the Jets long-term. Super chat from Bino. Isaac Bruce, 94, draft Hall of Famer. Again, if the goal is to draft a Hall of Famer when you're picking that too. There's no doubt. It's easier said than done, though. We've had 3 gifted memberships during today's show. I'm going to add a 4th right now because we're a little light on the memberships. If you get a membership from me, you are in the Asmaniac raffle for a signed Lavernius Coles helmet. Can the Jets draft a wide receiver as good as Lavernius Coles this year? That would be awesome if they can. Let me tell you, Lavernius Cole is part of that 2000 draft class. 3rd round pick. They need something like that. Now, the Jets don't have a 3rd round pick, but you get my point. Maybe they get a 3rd round pick if they trade down. 1 gifted membership from yours truly on the way. It went to listener Mango Peach. Mango, you are in the raffle for 1. This Saturday, we're raffling away a signed Darrelle Revis helmet, signed Garrett Wilson helmet, and a signed Wayne Krebet football. I got time for a couple more calls before we wrap this baby up. Joining us right now on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline is a man who is revered in this community. Ladies and gentlemen, he's standing 9 toes tall.
Well, you know, I'm getting really freaking pissed. I thought I saw Gary's pretty wife. I need to get some sleep. I'm Hey, how you doing, Jake?
Hello,
I'm on
Bobby.
my phone. It's a lot easier than my computer sometimes for your show. So, yeah.
What do you have on your face?
Well, I shaved today.
Wipe your face.
I don't have anything on my face. I
You have
shaved
something there.
yesterday. I don't know what I have.
Was that
So how
leftover
you
food?
doing? I'm so excited today. Guess what? I went to the Tierney show today. He knows me. You know?
I'm happy
He
for
said,
you.
Bob, from my mom, I know you. Yeah, I remember you. You called in one time at a baseball park. It was me waiting for Michael to get out of Domino's. That's when they called him. And I think he was with, what's his name? And my pal, too.
So you called
Connor.
into Brandon's show today? Is that what you're telling me?
No, they didn't have the call-ins, but he read my thing. Tomorrow they have a call-ins tomorrow. The guy who works behind the scenes for him, the young guy, I don't know, Jay is his name. He's a nice kid. I thought they were father and son. I guess not. 'Cause
Dana
he
says,
already
Bobby,
has
pick up a towel and run it under some water and brush it off.
I don't have anything on my feet, on my face. So I miss Matt O'Leary. I'm sorry, I miss Matt O'Leary. He's a great guy like you, Jake. Are you going to the Yankee game today?
I'm not.
What time did they start today? Afternoon game?
Yeah, 1:30.
Yeah, because it's a traveling day for teams today. So who do we play next after the Angels? Do you remember?
Scott Foster wants to know, Bob, when are you going to get a haircut?
I'm getting a haircut soon. Don't worry about it. Once I get off my shoe, I get my haircut. And then something else I'm going to get after my haircut.
Beast says, I see sandpaper on the face.
What? I don't see anything on the face. I shaved this morning. Beast, I wouldn't be talking about a health issue if I have any problem. You have more problems than I do. So pipe down.
Yeah, his
You're on the
freezer's not
stage.
working.
Thank you. I know. Gator was very fast about that refrigerator. Wow, that was pretty good.
Hey,
Wasn't
Beast,
it?
put your
That's
camera
good.
back on.
No, I'll leave if he comes on. I'll leave.
Why? You don't want to talk to Beast?
If you did. No, I'm not in the mood for no Beast today. I want you. When I talk to you, I called in for you, not Beast. Okay. Beast could run the show like he normally does when I get off. He's always here, so you could.
What do you
let
mean
me
run the
talk to
show?
you. Well, I mean, you have him on most of the time, so let me
You
talk to
think-
you. Then when I
What
leave,
percentage of my
have
4 hours a day that I do on the Jets do you think Beast is on the screen?
about 80% of the
You
time.
think Beast is on the show for 80% of the 4 hours?
Yeah, when you have two people, when you have a person on, you have him always come on and be himself, like I used to do. Remember? You used to
Jake
bring me
says
on
Bobby
for.
is upset that Beast replaced him. Is this true?
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. Jake, Quest, stop spinning lies. What about when you got in trouble by cutting your chicken? You're gonna do that again? I'm gonna bring that up again.
He cut a chicken?
Okay, so yeah. No, he was talking on my show and he got in trouble for that. And his wife yelled at him cutting the chicken. So
His wife yelled at him
He
and
said
called him a
he-
chicken?
No, he was cooking, getting the chicken dinner ready for the wife and the kids, so got in trouble. So you better watch out, Jake Quest. So
Apparently
Jake,
that
great
happened on my
guy.
show. That wasn't on your show.
Oh, it happened on your show. Okay, it happened on the show. I died laughing when that happened. That was pretty damn funny. So yeah, it was on your show, I guess. Yeah, because she had to cook the chicken. So
Does your freezer work, Bob?
Yeah, it does. Oh, it's very cold. Yeah.
Any advice to give to Beast how to get his up and running?
I don't know. Oh no. You're not doing that. No. Okay. Have a good day, Jake.
Are you
Be
afraid of
good. I'll
Beast?
call you in at 4:00.
Why are you afraid?
I'm not afraid of Beast. I just don't want to talk to him today. Okay. Thank you. I'll talk to you later, Jake.
When can
no,
we schedule
bye.
a meeting of the minds?
I don't know. Maybe.
He quit. Damn. It's tough, man. Two people we really like, they don't like each other. What are you gonna do? Home stretch of our show. Last chance to enter the raffle and get in on all the fun. If you missed it earlier this week, there was an epic showdown between the Bat Fella and the Kangaroo Killer.
Me, the Australian Jets fan, we're taking on the big fella. Footy stubby, set hut.
This city breathes in fear, a suffocating poison in the night air. They think the darkness is their ally, a cloak for their corruption. But they've forgotten what truly lurks in the shadows, the power of fear when it's turned against them. Soon, they will be reminded.
The Bat Fella has returned.
President Asman, it is great to be with you today. I was sent by Commissioner Peter Castro to check out the voter fraud that is going on in the Dark Alliance region. The flatulator has been fully rehabilitated. He has joined the trans team community, and he will be a valuable asset to that marginalized community, the trans team. Now, I smell the criminality everywhere. I had to investigate the matchup between AJF, otherwise known as Captain Outback, and the Diddler.
Can you hear me? Good job.
And there seems to be some vote miscalculation. Jacob, can you please put the picture of the Diddler I sent to you on?
Sir, yes, sir. I am pulling up the picture of the Diddler right now.
That's Captain Outback.
Here's the Diddler.
The Diddler. The Diddler has been throwing lavish sex parties down at Rowan University with unknowing victims. Okay, he has made a shortage of baby oil. He put baby oil
Can you hear me?
all over. It took me a hard time to get him down. The Diddler is also in the trafficking of narcotics, which I found massive amounts of this. Now we know why he speaks so quickly. Okay, it was hard to take him down because he fights like this. It was very hard. It's like he's slapping young children in the forehead. You have convinced an entire continent that this actually tastes good. Your mind control over the kangaroos, holding AK-47s. You were going to use them against the nations of America, and we can't have that in America. Hey, keep firing! I found the sick and twisted scientific project that you have come up with. You have now turned an alligator and a ladybug so they can fly and chop people's heads off. An alligator mixed with a ladybug. You are a vile criminal. The Australian people should not be eating this shit.
Here's evidence of the Bat Fella experimenting on animals to frame AJF.
He's corrupt. He's a menace.
This was just sent to me. Do we have a kangaroo killer on the loose?
To the fire with you!
What the hell is going on?
Your drugs are not keeping you awake anymore. The Adderall is now gone. You can't have it anymore.
Here's evidence of the Bat Fella working with the Diddler in order to try and frame me. The Bat Fella is a lunatic. He's trying to divide us all instead of bring us together.
Your lies will not influence. It will not influence the chat. You know why? Robin brought me the cube. You're powerless now. You know what else he brought me?
What?
Your helmet. Robin? Robin. Because you're evil. Throwing kangaroos into a volcano. What a horrible thing.
Look, you're crazy, man.
You're part of the trans team community, and we fully accept you.
The lies are outrageous, and I can't believe that the Bat Fella is trying to mind control everyone in the chat with this cube.
This gets over, bro. I'm just playing.
What a battle that was earlier in the week. Home stretch. I got time for a couple quick calls. I got to run to a meeting. AJF, you're next. What's up, man?
I showed my mom that video today. It was the funniest thing she's seen. It was absolutely hilarious. Anyway, quick for me. Who do you think that the Cardinals will take at 3? Do you think that it will be either Reese or Bailey? Like thinking we take the other?
I think they take whoever the Jets don't take.
And is Bailey still the betting favorite in the US?
On FanDuel, I saw that Reese has now pulled even with Bailey.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same here. And then on another one, Bailey was still the favorite. Also, I've got $45 on the Yankees. Do you think they're going to pull through?
Betting baseball is always silly because the best teams in the league are going to lose at least 60 times, no matter what. So it's hard. Now, the Yankees have their best pitcher going today, so the odds are they should win, but that's not always how it works.
Surely they don't lose to the Angels. Like the Angels.
They almost did last night. They needed a gift.
Anyway, let's just hope it gets through. I'll let you get to your meeting. Nice talking to you. I'll call in again soon, no doubt.
AJF, great call. Appreciate you. All right, quick update here. This is from Phil D'Angelo. Sent me $20 to get in the raffle for 4 with the caption for Christopher Columbus's refrigerator. Beast, your thoughts?
Playing pocket pull the cool off right now.
What
Jump
about the
back to
freezer?
me. Won't fit.
Is this what you did to fix it?
Are you crazy?
Did you use a salt gun?
No. I got a hammer to get rid of that garbage. What are you, blind?
This was sent to me, though. This is not you?
What a crackhead. Wow. How about I just sound like the guy from Tropic Thunder and just say this? You went full retard, man. Never go full retard. What, look like a retard to you or something?
All right. B says that's on him. 2 calls left. M123 and then Adam. What's up, M123?
Hey, what's up, Jake? I'm sorry. I was waiting. Who cares? You got to go. I just want to thank you again. I like to call in and thank you every once in a while and all the Asmaniacs because it's just hysterical, man. And I was thinking, I think it was this morning or the other day, how I think I've watched you on and off for a few years now. I think Zach sucked by himself when I started watching you, and then we went into Rogers. Anyway, I would watch you and be like, God, just these intros are so long, and there's outros, and just get to the point. And now I wake up and I'm brushing my teeth and I'm singing like Kyle Clifton to myself or whatever. And, you know, just the community build and the battles. And I have to shout out Gary. I don't know if I'm pro Gary or against Gary or what I am. It's very volatile, but I have to shout him out along with Derek, my favorite friendly, knowledgeable fan who calls in all the time. So, and I honestly don't, I still am learning a lot about the draft, these picks in the 4th. It's really interesting. As a, you know, very dumb fan, I just want Ty Simpson #1 and running backs and throwers and just everything's Geno's fault. Quarterback, we suck. Who cares? Don't use logic. But I love learning logic and what we should be doing if we were a professional football team, right? So, again, thank you for all those things, the comedy, the info, and I'll call in again sometime and probably thank you again. So that's it.
Well, that means a lot, M123. Thanks for being part of this crazy community. I mean, the Jets drive us crazy, so we like to have some fun when we can, you know, and also We got to be serious and vent our feelings. We do that too, which is great.
Have a great one, guys.
And 1, 2, 3, excellent call, man. Appreciate that. I love that. I've had so many people that I've run into at events or just people come up to you and they say, you know, oh, love the show, or they tell me, you know, who their favorite caller is. But then it's like, I'm always singing, and then they say like what intro they have like stuck in their head. That's a common thing I've been getting lately. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of intros, our final caller on today's show.
Adam is cool, although kind of basic. He claims he's too cool, though often quite basic. He makes great jet points, looks a little basic. Adam is cool, too cool, but basic. Some would say generic.
Hey, Jake. How's it going?
Adam, let's go, baby. How are you?
Good, good. All right, I'll make a quick one. So this whole Reese versus Bailey thing, something that I'm kind of curious about is when folks are like prognosticating the Jets are going to pick this particular player for the second, is it because it would be who they would pick, or is it who they think the Jets will take? Because now that's kind of where I'm at now, where I'm like, I don't even know what these prognosticators even mean these days about what is the correct pick. Are they saying we're going to pick Bailey because we're going to screw it up? Or is it because Bailey's a better player? Like, I think it's actually quite helpful when those folks kind of say, I think the Jets are going to pick this player for these reasons, not I'm going to pick. If I was the GM, I would pick this particular player. You follow what I'm saying?
I think so.
Sorry. I was trying to be quick with it. So let me rephrase it one more time. When like a Mel Kiper, for example, is saying the Jets are going to pick Bailey, is it because Bailey is the better option for the Jets long term, or is it just because they think this is who they're going to settle with for X, Y, and Z?
Some guys do what they would do. Some guys make predictions on what they think will happen. Jeremiah is famous for doing mocks based on what he thinks will happen, and he nailed the Will Anderson trade up that the Texans did a couple of years back. So when he says, hey, they're going to trade up this year for Carnell Tate with the Washington, I pay extra attention to that because he's getting that, I don't think, out of thin air, you know?
Yeah. Okay, that was it. That was my question, because that's kind of where my head was at these days, because now I'm just like, who the heck knows? And I know that's kind of how everyone's feeling right now. So 1 week away. Let's go. Finally.
You know what, Adam? You got to call out Three Siblings Jay. He's too afraid to call in, but he says that you're a middle of the show type caller, not a closer type caller.
You know what? Boom should probably say how many times I've been closer, because that's probably more times than you've had sex. So
whoa, that's a closer. Hell yeah. Let's go, Adam. Yeah.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Yeah, Jay. What do you think of that? How do you like them apples? Let's go, Adam. That's a closer. R.I.P. to Jay. He's dead. It's over. Holy hell. Wow. Adam's a nice guy, but you say he's not a deserving closer when the man calls in, puts himself in the arena. And Jay just sits in the chat and types and calls Mike Vrabel a mid-coach. I don't think we forgot about that one, Jay. CJ says, someone call an ambulance. Adam just murdered Jay. Holy hell. Unbelievable. Wow. What a show. I don't have anything else to add. Incredible. I will see you guys this afternoon. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're near 45,000, which is a testament to this amazing fan base. Because if the Jets were ever good, I'd have 100,000. That I know for sure. Because all the casuals would be watching. And right now it's only the diehards. This afternoon we have Gorman and Big Cho. So get ready for that. I'm certainly pumped. RSVP to our draft party. It's a week away. If you're on the fence about going, just do it. We're going to have a blast, and I can't wait. As always, JETS, 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 Jets. We will talk to you soon.
Prove your claim that people walked on the moon.
Men don't die for no reason at all.
How does men don't die for no reason prove that people walked on the moon. Your evidence is that you were alive when someone claimed to have walked on the moon.
I was living then, yes.
What does that prove?
I believe in achievement. I believe in a space program.
You believe in achievement. Therefore, people walked on the moon. That's your argument?
I believe people didn't lie to us like you.
I believe in achievement. Therefore, people walked on the moon?
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets!